Hey, hi. Welcome to Talk Comics to Me. It is Sunday. I don't think that matters to you because I usually upload these on Monday, but just so you know, it is Sunday and we're here talking about comics.
Yes.
I'm Champienstein.
I'm Heather Hadfield. I'm going to scoot a little closer so
that's fine.
voice can get in. Because I realized I was like, let's lean as far away from this as we can.
And I think we should just talk about comics.
Yeah, we're just going to get into it. We're not going to talk about
anything else right now.
Credit checks.
Yeah.
Over it. Okay. I have this wonderful book. I actually just looked up how to pronounce it because I wasn't sure because, you know, it's
Trisket.
Yeah. How'd you know, dude?
I grew up with them.
First choice.
Yeah.
Like right there. Champ got it. I did not use the right phrase at all. First choice. First try is what I meant to say. But with trying, we got Triskel.
Yeah.
But apparently it can be that or Triskel, which makes sense. I was like, Triskele. That's what I thought it was. But basically, I just want to say I love this book. Way more than I thought I was going to. I mean, it sounded really interesting. But basically, it's about this boy named Alec who gets magic on Samhain, and it causes a disruption in the land that he lives in, apparently. So him and his group of friends are sent on this epic, dangerous journey to save their kingdom, pretty much. But it is heavily influenced by Irish and Welsh mythology. So it's got a lot of like Celtic tradition and stuff in it.
Sounds interesting.
Yeah, it was really good. I liked the art. I mean, typically I don't think I would enjoy it, but
yeah, I can see why I wouldn't necessarily always
yeah,
be your thing.
But the story was just because they're young. They're not. I don't want to say they're children, but they are kids.
Yeah,
like they're young, and
the watercolors are good.
Yeah, and I think that's part of why I enjoyed it so much. And reading the kids, the way that they talk to each other, like we've all had friends like this before. Like it was just a lot of fun to read. And there's magic in it, which I thought was very cool. And to it. There are a lot of things that you learn here. So there, like I said, it's Welsh and Irish, but it'll say a word that isn't necessarily a word that we would know, and it translates. I was like, transluce. I'm having a hard time with words today. It'll translate what the word is, or if it mentions something that we wouldn't know about, it kind of gives it like a brief explanation down at the bottom. So it's really cool. I actually learned a lot from this. But yeah, it's Triskel. It is a scout book. I think there's only going to be 3 issues.
Okay, that was what I was going to ask.
Yeah, it is. It is a very short series, but I'm excited to see these kids on their adventure.
All right.
And then there's 2 people here at the end who are watching them from a roof, and you don't know if they're necessarily good or bad, but they're supposed to keep an eye on the kids.
All right.
So
you don't know. Yeah, you just don't know.
I'm assuming that they are good based on the way that they were talking, and they're like supposed to protect the kids or make sure like nothing happens to them and stuff, because I did not get any nefarious feelings with them. So
good.
Yes, it was. I really enjoyed it.
Okay, well, first, before I start talking about another book and forget, I have Fox and the Hare. I believe that's the name of the book. Yeah, Fox and Hare. Issue number 1. It's a new Vault book. I did not special order it. I thought I had, but I did not.
Yeah, I thought you did too.
But I did read it off the wall because I was at least interested, and I liked it way more than I thought I would, actually, considering it's not necessarily a book I would really like, which is probably why I didn't special order it.
Maybe you were just kind of on the fence about it.
Yeah. But basically kind of like a cyberpunk-esque story. These 2 characters kind of have a found family with one another, and they are mercenaries. They are breaking into a place, and somebody else has already kind of broken into there and is hacking. They're hacking the planet.
Hacking the mainframe, the mega mainframe.
And so they help them out, and the story takes off from there. And kind of, I don't know, it was just really interesting. Like I said, the art was really good. I didn't say that, but the art was really good. The colors were really great. It was just also just an interesting story, and I would suggest it, and I'm probably going to try to read that second issue if I can.
Okay. Very good.
Yeah. I feel like, especially if you like cyberpunk stuff, it'll hit the right way. And then next I have Edgar Allan... Ow. I don't know why that happened.
Words.
Edgar Allan Poe's The Conqueror Worm. What a fucking mouthful of shit going on right there.
It's a comic book adaptation.
It is a comic book adaptation by Clara Meath. And anyway, I don't think I've ever read this story, so I can't speak to if it's on with the
True to
poem
size
or story or whatever it is. But what I got out of it is that aliens. Oh my god, I'm having troubles, and I have no reason.
My trouble transferred to
you. Angels.
I've never read this either, so this
Angels
is
is what I meant, not
Okay.
aliens. Angels, I think, are like fighting this weird creature thing. I don't know. I had a hard time. I don't know if I understood it.
Okay.
I don't know if I took out of it what I was supposed to do.
I mean, that's
So,
fair.
if you like Edgar Allan Poe, go for it. If you like Conqueror Worms,
Like, who doesn't? That's
Yeah.
the thing that, like, I don't know why I didn't. Or that I love both of those things.
so...
Do you want to start a band called Conqueror Worm?
No, because I can barely say it. I can barely get
I'll
it
say
out.
it all the time. Conqueror Worm.
Hey, we're Conqueror Worm.
We are... That should be the name of our podcast. The Conqueror Worm. It's a comic book adaptation.
Alright, so next we have Bloodstained Teeth. This is issue number 2. This continues the story of, I don't remember his main name, Atticus Sloane, and it's right there. Right
Yeah,
on the
I was
first
going to say,
page, so
I
was
opened
able-
that and I was like, wait, his name is Mr. Sloane. Wait, Mr. Atticus Sloane.
right there, thank you. He has to go kill all of the little simps that he made into vampires.
Here, this explains it like perfectly. I forgot this was here. For decades, Atticus Sloane has been turning humans into vampires, referred to by the First Council as simps. Sorry.
Yes.
Now he has a month to find all those that he has turned or face deadly consequences. Kill all that he has turned, or the Firstborn Council will kill him.
Just a interesting little book. I think the colors are really what get me about this book. It just looks really, really fun.
Yeah.
And it's like I like the humor that's kind of infused in the story itself, too.
I really like all the characters that they have introduced so far because some of them, I mean, at least one of them in particular, it was kind of confusing because I'm like, well, what does this person have to do with this story? But obviously it'll all come together and it'll all make sense. But I like the way that they are introduced. And my favorite, since I always have a favorite, is this little Joker character.
Yeah.
You like him? I thought I really loved him.
Yeah, but I would say if you like vampire stories, and if you're not vampire storied out, then
It's a pretty solid one. I know we mentioned this with the first issue because it's a cool little take on the vampire stories.
Yeah.
It's different. It's actually a different kind of vampire story for once. And I love vampire stories.
Yeah, I don't know. For some reason, that's something I could imagine you doing, like
Me?
yeah, turning a bunch of people for like
Oh, for sure. That would be my
shit.
main goal. Like, what can I do first? Change as many people as I possibly can. Because why not? I'm not going to be by myself for my whole life. I would ask permission first, though. Like, I wouldn't just go around being like, hey, I'm just going to kill you. I'm sorry about it. You don't have a choice. I'd be like, hey, let me tell you about this new thing going on.
Yeah.
And if they said no, then I would say, well, too bad. But I would ask first, make it seem like they had a choice. But if you said no, I wouldn't want to do that to you.
Yeah, I mean, you know that I would rather not be immortal.
No, I know.
And I think if you made me immortal, then you'd have to like kill me at some point because I would just I would decide to be like incredibly annoying to you. I would be like, you know what? It's time for me to go, and you've made me live way too long.
I mean,
and so I would just like annoy the shit out of you until you murdered me.
I was gonna say we could negotiate the details of your immortality. Like, I wouldn't just be like, nah, dude, you have to stay with me forever. It'd be like, this is a time limited thing. Like, just try it out for a little bit. If you're not into it, like, I'll bring Chris too if you want. Like, but I have to change him. You are not allowed. It's me. This is my goal.
All right, you ready for what's next?
Yes.
Okay, so next we have Department of Truth. This is issue number 18. We've been just chugging along.
Oh, yeah.
So this issue just kind of recaps where we're at and kind of where everybody has been. It was one of those things where I was talking with somebody about it yesterday, and I really like the in-between little storylines, like the history of Department of Truth, but it does make for the breaks and the stuff between, like, it makes it harder to come back and, like, catch these issues. It's almost worth, like, rereading these issues without the little, like, history between, and then kind of getting, like, a fuller story, like a more, like, fully understood story.
That makes sense. I get that.
But it doesn't, like, discount, like, how great this, like, book is.
Right.
But that's just something that, like, I've noticed.
It's just really dense.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot going on. There's a lot of different stories that are told in between the issues and stuff. But, I don't know, just this one also kind of goes into the way that Cole feels about all of this new responsibility that he's been given and, like, what he's supposed to do with it, and just being exhausted.
Yeah, and also how, like, that affects his relationships as well.
This is why, you leave work at work, you don't take it home.
And in that sense, I don't know if you can.
No, it's impossible. That's why he's exhausted.
Yeah. All right, you're next.
Yes, okay. I thought this said bun, and I was like, did I just pick up another Colin Bun book on accident? Okay, so this is Good Boy. This is volume 2. It's issue number 1. This picks up kind of where the last series left off. There is a time jump, but I'm just not sure, like, how much time has passed. But it's just the reverse John Wick story with the dog that's hunting down the humans that killed his human. But this is getting more into the dogs have, like, the dogs that have escaped the life that Finch, I can never remember this dog's name.
He's the main character. Why would we remember his name?
Flint Sparks. I said Finch. Flint Sparks, who's the main character here. It goes into what happens to the dogs who leave the life. They have their own little sanctuary and stuff, and it's where they can just stay away from violence, not be around other humans, just, like, be by themselves. He goes there because he has friends that are there and he needs, like, sanctuary.
Yeah.
But it turns out that the people who he's been hunting, who are now also hunting him, have gotten there first. So it's
good.
Yeah,
good and bad.
There's I really do like this story a lot. Like, I love the art for it. I love the way that the story is told. But it's surprisingly heavy for it just being a story about dogs.
Yeah.
I just showed this page to Champ a little bit. I'm not going to show it to y'all, my people. I don't want you to have to see it because it hurt my feelings. I don't like seeing dogs get hurt.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of hurt dogs in this. But also, this is my favorite page. Or little panel, just because of the face that he's making.
Yeah, that face is really good.
Yeah. And I think that's why one of the reasons I love this book so much is just how goofy it is. The dogs are so realistic while also just being dogs. It's really silly. But yeah, this is, I think the last series was only 4 issues, so I think that's what they're doing again. Who knows if they'll keep going with it. They very easily could.
Yeah.
They could go into, like, the sanctuary and the dog that's been running it and just all sorts of other stuff, which would be cool to read, but I just, once Flint Sparks' story finishes, like, I feel like I will be done if they continue with it. But yeah, I still enjoy it. He's a good boy. Loves his human.
That's good. Okay, so next I have Something is Killing the Children. This is issue number 23. This just starts this continues the new story. Erica has been arrested, so she is calling in help so that she doesn't alert the House of Slaughter to her whereabouts. And then new scary lady is in Chicago and looking for Erica, trying to take her down for the house, basically.
Okay.
Oh, still really, really like this book. I
can't believe how many issues in it is.
Yeah,
like that's wild.
And technically, if you count like House of Slaughter, then you have like another 6 issues.
Yeah, I was gonna say
29
it's like
issues.
Oh my god.
And like none of it has ever been one of those points where I'm just like, I don't want to read this anymore. Every time I'm just like, I still really, really like this.
Yeah.
I can get how like having both House of Slaughter and Something is Killing the Children can be a little much for people, but I think it's interesting for like how House of Slaughter just like delves into like the masks and like certain people within like this group. Mm-hmm. And I like how this is still just like following Erica and also giving you like, you know, more of like everything within this world.
Right.
So I don't know.
Well, cool. That's a pretty solid story.
Yeah.
And I think between the two of them too, to keep it like that interesting with both of them going at the same time, like that's something.
Yeah, for sure. All right, you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, we have Stillwater. This is issue number 13. It's a cute little story about Daniel and immortality. Mm-hmm. And they find some stuff out about the town.
I was like, wait a minute.
You know,
I
did the same thing. I was like, I read that book, but this isn't the book that I'm reading. There's a little preview for another book in the back of here. But yeah, it's just, I don't know, Stillwater just keeps going. Mm-hmm. It's wrapping up, but...
Yeah, how many issues did they say there was going to be? I feel like it
did say, but I don't...
We have entered the final story arc of Stillwater, so probably 5 more issues. Yeah,
at least.
The next 5 issues.
So yeah, I still enjoy the story. I am just like, I am prepared and ready for it to end now.
Yeah. It's, I just want them to overthrow that stupid kid.
Yeah.
What a mean man.
It's like, I kind of liked the kid at first, and then I was like, oh, no, I guess.
And I mean, that's a good bad guy. Mm-hmm. It was like, you feel something for him, and then all of a sudden he's like, nope. Tricked you.
Yeah.
And I think that's how I want it.
And I really like the idea of like a town, you know, having people being able to like live forever and have that immortality aspect, and then them like being like, well, we can't fucking leave. We can't tell anybody else about this.
Yeah, this is impossible. Everyone's gonna want the youth.
Yeah,
the juice of youth.
The juice. Yeah, so I'm excited for the end to see what happens.
It's gonna be. I feel like it's gonna be good.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
All right, so next we have The Vampire Slayer. This is issue number 2. This is taken a different universe. Here we learn why Willow is the Slayer. And it's not because in a different universe she is the Slayer. It's because a spell has gone haywire.
Yeah, and tricked him.
Yeah. So I did like this issue much more than just the way Giles looks in this whole issue makes me laugh. I did like this issue much more than the first one, and I feel like it's an interesting idea. We'll see. I am willing to give it at least the first story arc because all of these covers are really cool.
Yeah, it definitely does have potential now. Like after the first issue, I was kind of upset. I'm not gonna lie, I was a little mad.
Yeah, because I'm over it. Mm-hmm. But I will give it that it did change it to not being just like, oh, in a different universe, she's the Slayer. You know.
She looks like a weird mixture of Sweet D and Jennifer Aniston. And that looks like Ross.
Yeah.
I don't like it. Yeah, we'll see. Yeah. I mean,
I don't have any high hopes because all of Buffy has just been basically besides the last Slayer.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think that's literally the last one that I did enjoy. I did like the first 2 story arcs of Angel before it was restarted. Yeah. But again, that's a different story within the same universe. But yeah, all the Buffy stuff I just have not.
Like one shots have been like okay for the most part. Yeah. There's some like that are better than others. Like I think they've talked about this before, that Chosen One. But yeah, it's just I don't know. It feels like at this point too, like just beating a dead horse, and it's like just let it go. Mm-hmm. Like I think you've exhausted like whatever ideas that you had, and that's wild because you could literally do so much and so many different things.
Yeah. They just keep going with the same stuff. And it's like, why don't just give Buffy a break for like 10 years and then maybe try it again? But no one's doing it, right? Yeah. Maybe we're just picky.
Yeah, I mean, or just like give us different characters. Yeah. Like that's, I think, really what I want is like different characters. Because I'm just tired of seeing these characters just like rehash the way they are. It's just like,
I would like an entire. I say entire. I would like a limited series about Harmony.
That would be interesting, depending on who wrote it.
Yeah, I just think that give me more of the side characters, the people who are only in the show for like an episode or two. Like, give me more of them. I don't give a fuck about anyone else anymore.
All right, once again, we've ranted about Buffy.
Yeah, it's always
like I don't know how we even enjoyed that issue, and we're still like on a rant about how much we hate all of the Buffy comics.
Yeah, I don't think I'm ever going to get over it. So I'm going to try to move on by talking about this. This is Legion of X. This is issue number 1. Here's the Nick Robles cover. That's
a good cover.
Beautiful. So I don't want to spoil too much about this, just because there is a lot going on, and I don't want to have to like break down every little single thing that happens. So it's the way that I read it was Nightcrawler's own version of X-Force.
Okay.
After I sat down and really thought about it, again, there's a lot of stuff going on in here. Like Legion is kind of doing his own thing in his mind palace, so he's got stuff going on. But one of the main parts of this is Nightcrawler is called to, I can never pronounce it, Araco.
Yeah, it's close enough. It's a made-up word.
Yeah,
like
it definitely is. Yeah. How about colonized Mars? He is called up there by the Arakians. Is that right? To investigate the disappearance of a god. So that's pretty much, he is working with one of them to figure out what happened to this god.
All right.
I did enjoy this actually quite a bit for several different reasons. I like all the different people that you are following within it, because there's a lot of like Pixie, and then I forget what her name is too. Justice. So I can't remember. I'm sorry. I'm so terrible with names apparently. But Pixie and one of the other characters are kind of working with some of the younger mutants who think that they are evil for doing certain things, and they're helping them deal with that in a very therapeutic kind of way. And then, at the very end, there is an entity that is introduced, and you don't know, like, if they're good, bad, what their motives are, all that kind of stuff. So, kicking off a brand new storyline. Also, Nightcrawler gets propositioned for sexual relations in here, and he just says, what? Weird. I would have taken it. I would have been like, yeah, dude, let's do it. She's awesome.
Good.
So that is my X book of the week.
Well, I think that's the only X book we have here.
Yeah.
So I have Punisher. This is issue number 3. This just continues Punisher being the leader of the Hand, just going back into his childhood and showing when he first did his first kill. And then it just, basically his dead wife, who is now alive, is like, where are the kids? We left the kid, like, freaking out because, she's dead.
Oh my God, yeah.
And her last memory is being in the park. And then she's like, well, we left the kids. So now Frank Castle is going to his god, this giant god, and asking to bring his kids back to life, too.
Is this kind of like Shutter Island?
This is like one of the, like, I really want to keep reading this book because I'm just like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it sounds like it's manic. It's
why?
all over the place.
Why is this happening?
Yeah.
Like, what in the hell was going on in Jason Aaron's head? And he was like, okay, I gotta write a Punisher story. And right now, like, Punisher's not that hot.
He's got the dartboard and like
it's just
ideas.
like cop, like very cop affiliated, and it's like, what if I make him part of like the leader of the hand, who's also like got a god inside of him.
He's ingested a god,
and then he's had this god in him his whole childhood. It's just it's really silly. The coolest thing about this book is like the fucking art is so good. I love the art for the main story, and like the flashback art is like really great. Like I love that dynamic between the two of them.
Who does the flashback art?
What, Azteca? Yeah, as a Seta?
As a cheetah?
I don't know. So then Jesus Saiz does the main one. But yeah, I just really like the dynamic between the two and like the way they look, and like I said, it's just silly. It just like makes me like every time I finish it, I'm just like, what kind of ridiculous idea is this? And the fact that he's like fighting Ares too is also just like another layer.
Wait a minute, where's that other god?
Another layer to it where it's just like, okay. I feel like, I don't know, I smoke a lot of weed, but like this makes me feel like I have just ingested the worst weed I ever have in my life. Where I'm just like, what kind of fever dream bullshit is this?
You've been smoking regs.
Yeah. God, I would never again.
We can't do it now. Not with the stuff we have.
Yeah.
All right.
It would kill somebody from the 70s. This is Moon Knight. This is issue number 11. Yeah.
Yeah, Moon Knight's still on his quest to take down Zodiac.
I feel like it's gonna it has to end this next, like this thing has to end.
It has to.
Not the story itself. Like I don't mind this story, but it's also not as good as I had hoped.
I feel like it only started like picking up the last couple issues because, you know, we've talked about this every single time we get Moon Knight, where it's like while there is an overarching theme throughout the issues, each one is sort of its own thing. Mm-hmm. But like within the last couple, it's the continuance of what has been happening. So it's like every small thing that has been happening in the previous issues is finally at the forefront, and these issues are dealing with it. And like maybe I'm just reading it in I don't know.
I know,
it's
like
just,
what you're saying is right. It's just like it's the thing that's like a disservice is that it took 11 issues, right. And the thing that it's just like all of it is so like all over the place within those 11 issues, where it doesn't feel cohesive. And I know it's not supposed to 100% because a lot of it's like, oh, this was like a test by Zodiac. But
maybe it's supposed to make me feel, as we're reading it, the way that he feels while dealing with it.
Yeah, I would assume that's part of it. Yeah, it's just a little too chaotic.
Yeah, no, it very, very much is. It
just feels like it took too long to get to like this point without like the weight of Zodiac doesn't feel like it's there.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. It's a little weak.
Yeah.
At this point. Yeah. Because we're finally just dealing with what has apparently been happening the whole time, but didn't realize it until the last couple of issues. So yeah, the art is still incredible, absolutely good. And it's like, it's a fine story. Mm-hmm, it's just the way that the story was told is just very, very confusing. Shouldn't have been told that way, but that's just me. I'm not writing this, so. Okay, so we both have The Rush, but we have not read this. This is the last issue.
Mine's in the bedroom.
We'll get to it. So yeah, this is, again, the last issue. It'll conclude the story of this woman trying to find her child.
It's the last issue. It'll conclude the story.
Yeah, issue number 6. It's done. I just flipped to the last
I was about to say, oh my god, what did you do?
I didn't read anything.
I barely saw something, but that could have been dangerous.
So I did actually just finish issue number 5 today, and a lot of things were a lot of things were revealed in that. So I'm excited to see how the story ends, because the last page of that had me shook.
All right.
So it was good.
I'm excited.
But now on to this.
I'm going to talk about. We were like, how many do we get?
I was like, wait, I forgot what order I was doing things in. Okay, so this is the Collector Unit 731. This is just about the camp during World War II where they did all the experiments and vivisections and stuff. This just goes more into it about the main character who is a prisoner of war. He's just being infected with a bunch of stuff and they're doing the experiments on him, but he cannot get sick for some reason and they don't know why. So obviously it's going to be like a superhero story. This was dumb.
Okay.
It was so dumb. And I wanted so bad to like it because I do really enjoy the art for it. Mm-hmm. And I guess the idea, if you take into, like, I don't know, if you separate it from the fact that the idea of this was based on a real thing that apparently happened, it's an interesting idea. But the fact that this guy is just like, oh, they keep injecting me with stuff and I'm sick for like one night and then the next morning I wake up and I'm fine, but I can't let them know. It's just weird.
Yeah.
There's just weird things happening in it. So I'm gonna take it off my poll. I meant to actually take it off after the first one, but just forgot. So don't waste your time.
Okay, so I have Swamp Thing. This is issue number 13. This is season 2 of the Swamp Thing. I had to do a little bit of catching up. I actually went back and read like 2 other issues before this. And I feel like it's kind of confusing to try to talk about right now after such a long period of time, but I still really enjoy the story. It follows Levi Kamei, and his time as the Avatar of the Green as Swamp Thing, and his dynamic between like his brother and this corporation that is killing the land all about us. So
okay,
it's really good. The art is really great.
Who does it again? Perkins?
Mike Perkins.
Okay, that's who.
And yeah, I think Spicier does the colors. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, it's a really good book, and it, like I said, it looks really good.
Yeah.
And the story is like really interesting, but it is also like fairly dense.
And yeah, again, it's 13 issues.
Yeah,
so it's kind of hard to
issues,
explain like exactly what's happening without spoiling everything that has happened.
Yeah, but I suppose if you like Swamp Thing, I would definitely say like it's worth a read.
Yeah. Good job, Swamp.
Thanks.
Okay.
I don't know why I said thanks.
Well, because you were talking about it.
Okay, so this is DC vs. Vampires Hunters. This is just a little one-shot, and this follows Damien as he is trying to infiltrate the vampire king.
Mm-hmm. Who was revealed in the most recent issue of DC versus Vampires. Mm-hmm. So, again, without spoiling much. But, yeah. The age-old question, and when you are turned, can you be good as well? Can you have a conscience, or are you just a mindless killing vampire? I love this.
Yeah, I really like that story. I like the little one shot.
Mm-hmm.
I really liked how it showed like Alfred too, and just like how connected he is to like the whole Bat family, and like how they all really feel about each other. And I know it's interesting how much I do enjoy all of these DC vs. Vampire books. Like I don't feel like I've come out of one and been like, why am I still reading this like ludicrous book?
Yeah, it's been really good. It's
especially for such like a silly kind of idea.
Yeah. And I know I've mentioned this before about, Deceased, but it was just, maybe it's just so outlandish and ridiculous that that's what makes it enjoyable. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. And like I just said earlier, I love vampire stories, so I just think this is really cool. I like how, as with any vampire media, the second you turn into a vampire, you're goth. Yeah. You have to start wearing leather trench coats. Love that.
He's got a Gabriel Malignant coat on.
I
mean, he did.
I know. I just thought it was really funny.
Some deep cuts here. Alright, so this is next is Detective Batman Detective Comics.
This is Batman Detectives. It's a comic.
He's being a detective. This is issue number 1060. He's still investigating all of this Riddler business. That's really like all I can say.
Yeah. And to refresh a little bit of your memory, it's, you know, people who are committing crimes that have never committed crimes before, who are willingly admitting to it but not explaining why.
Yeah.
Or like who they're doing it for. So
art in this book, or in this story, is really good.
Yeah, I really like it. And I like, there was a page with Bruce that, I don't know why, but it made me laugh, and it's just because of the face that he was making. It's when he was having dinner. Oh, I don't remember now, but yeah, it's a very interesting story.
Yeah, I really like it. I do think it is, like, intriguing. I like the way it's set up. Like I said before, I think the last time we talked about this, is I think it's a better put together, like, Batman than, like, the Batman movie was. Like, it has, like, kind of the same premise of, you know, the Riddler using, I guess in this case, the airways, or, like, you know, some sort of media to, like, get everybody to, like, commit crimes or do these things. And, like, I don't know, there's something about that I really liked, and I think is pulled off, like, extremely well in this story.
Yeah, it's done very fluidly.
Yeah.
Is that what I'm trying? Yeah.
I really like, and I also like the idea of, like, you know, him having to go to Talia and her being like,
can't tell you.
Yeah, that was just really good too. So that's all I gotta say.
Yeah, it's very good, and I didn't think that I would stay on Detective this long, but every story arc is just really good.
Yeah, and I did like the Gotham Girl Interrupted, like, Bath matter. It's her investigating a friend of hers murder, and so I like that too.
Yeah, all the little half stories have been good. Just a really good story.
I feel like Batman, I think it is, like, worth getting Detective, at least the last, I mean, I know that 12-issue run was a lot.
Because it was every week. Had it been spread out more, it would have, Anyway, it was a thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so I have this one shot. It's called Nightmare Man. This book was so silly, but also I loved it.
All right.
It was kind of funny. So it's technically a horror, is what it was solicited at, and I can understand why it is. So basically this guy is talking to his therapist, and he's like telling her about these nightmares that he used to have when he was little that included this person that he called Nightmare Man. And every time he woke up, he would have that feeling, you know, like, oh, it was so real. So he's telling her this story because when he went to go get coffee, he saw a Nightmare Man getting coffee as well. But he's like, there's no way this could have been real. Like, it's coincidence. It was someone who just looks like this man that used to torment me in my nightmares. So his therapist is like, here, you know, like, why don't you ask him? You know, like, just ask him if this, you know, tell him the story and just be like, this is, you know, it's been bothering me. Like, you look just like this man that was in my nightmares. And then you'll realize it's not him and you can move on. Like, it's not a big deal. It turns out it's the man that was in his nightmares. And everything that happened to him in his nightmares was real.
It's cool.
Yeah, it was a really cool idea. So he just sits down and has coffee while having a panic attack, talking to this man who actually used to torment him in his nightmares. And he's, you know, like, well, like, why did you do that to me? I was just like a child. I was like 7 to 8 years old, and you were just like brutally tormenting me. And because it was fun. I'm Nightmare Man, dude. That's what I do. And then he just gets up and walks away, leaving the man just completely distraught because he has no real answers for anything. I don't know. I'm glad this was a one-shot. It was, like I said, so silly, but also just very enjoyable.
Yeah. Well, good.
So, yeah.
It sounds like an interesting idea.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun because, it, like I said, it is technically considered horror, but it was done in a very funny way. It was a comedy to me.
Okay, so next I have the British Paranormal Society. This is issue number 2. This is just a couple characters from Hellboy investigating a disappearance of one of the characters' colleagues. I can't remember their names either, so I'm just gonna, go on with my life. But this is the one where there's, like, stone circles, and they're trying to figure out, like, what's going on in this town, and all of the townspeople are very, very secretive. And at the end, there's a little twist.
Ooh.
So, I don't know, I really like I liked all of these little, like, Hellboy side story stuff that I've read, because I've read a few of them. Mm-hmm. And I don't have to be, like, familiar with anything besides, like, oh, I know about spooky things, you know? It's like I can just take these characters as they are. But I'm interested to see, like, what the, Stone Circles are all about and what's been going on.
How many issues is there left?
I think there's only 4, so I think there's only 2. There's either 2 or 3 more issues. Like, most of those are about, like, I think 4 to 5 at most. So. Okay, so next we both have Newburn. This is issue number 7. Heather forgot it. She forgot to read it. I actually caught up, and I was 3 issues behind, so I'm very proud of myself. But basically everything that's been happening in the last couple issues, like all of the secrets that have been revealed, this is like them coming to a head here.
Oh, okay.
So that's what happens, and then the back matter is the one character investigating their friend's death. So it's Newburn. I'm glad I got caught up, because I did enjoy everything I got caught up on. It's interesting, like, to see, like, I don't always, but we talk about this quite a bit, just, like, the dynamics of, like, Chip's writing and how, like, varied it can be across the board. Like, we had Stillwater and Newburn, and those are 2 totally different books.
Right.
And even in the, like, style of the story, it's very, very different, so...
We love our boy Chip.
Yeah, we love our boy Chip, and I love Newburn, and Jacob Phillips' art in that book is really good, too. Okay, so next we have Saga. Last book we have, it's issue number 59. I don't know. I once again just don't care.
Yeah, and I don't... The ending was one of those that it was like...
Why?
Yeah... you could tell that it was supposed to invoke a certain feeling, but it just made me go like, well, for what?
Yeah, there's like no reason for it to be happening.
Yeah.
I guess I'm just gonna say spoiler alert, so if you don't want the end of this issue of Saga ruined for you, avert your eyes. Or just turn off the thing now. We're gonna end it after this anyway. So have a good day. So anyway, Squire admits his love for Hazel. He says he's in love with her.
It kind of... No, I don't want to talk about it. Never mind. It's just dumb.
What were you going to say?
I was going to say it just reminded me of that one issue when Prince Robot took all those drugs and was like trying to bang Alana.
Yeah. I can see what you're saying. Yeah, I don't know what sort of emotion that was supposed to get out of me, because I was just kind of like, why did you have to do that? Like, they're just kids. They don't even need to, like...
And they're being raised as siblings. Like, that's weird. Like, I get that they're not even close, but that is how they've been raised for however long now. I can't remember, like, how much in the future we are from where the last...
At least a few years.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's just... It doesn't make any sense to me, and I don't even... Like, I'm obviously interested to see, like, how they get out of that, or, like, they deal with that, but I'm also not interested, because I just don't think it needs to happen.
Mm-hmm. It's not necessary.
It's an unnecessary storyline, like, unless it was something maybe, like, a few years down the line, like, when they're teenagers and kind of, like, dealing with those emotions, but, like, this is just, they're so young, and it's not that I don't think that young kids don't get crushes on each other or stuff or anything. It's just, the dynamic they've been raised by, like, just, it doesn't make sense to me.
It kind of grossed me out a little bit.
So anyway, that's it. That's Saga, issue number 59. I don't know if I'll ever enjoy this book again. And it's weird because part of me is after this story arc, do I want to keep reading this? Like, do I want to read this that badly? Like, depending even on, like, because there's only one more issue, right, in this story arc.
Yeah.
I don't know how it could wrap up the last, like, the story arc and make me feel any different.
I don't know.
And I probably will keep reading it at least, like, another time, like, another story arc, but I just don't know.
Yeah, and I think we mentioned it the last time, it just doesn't have the same feeling, and I don't feel the same way about the story as I did before it came back. And I don't know if it's just because of the characters we're following now, or if there's just something missing from it.
Yeah. Maybe just like
there's two things missing from it for me, but it's...
Well, and even for me, like, I don't know, Prince Robot wasn't like a favorite character of mine. I did like Marco like quite a bit, but like also Marco was a character that really grounded the story itself, I think.
Yeah.
So that missing aspect of the story is like pretty detrimental, but
yeah, it's done.
All right, well, that's all we have. We're done.
Yeah.
So we'll see you next time. Go support your comic book shops. Go support your local libraries. Do good things for everybody, for yourself, for your friends, anyone who means anything to you. Just give them a hug. Let them know you care. Everything is pretty rough right now, so just do what you can.
Just be nice.
Just be nice. All right. We love you. We'll see you on the flip-flop.